Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Zumi. So today we are starting a Bible study series right here on this channel, and I'm going to be starting from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. And why I consider this Bible study series important is because I have come to the realization that most Christians we read the Bible, or we've been trained to study the Bible as a book of what God can do, not necessarily a book of principles, a book of examples that we can imitate or not imitate. And so as a result of that, many believers we tend to kind of be procrastinators. We look at, wow, this is what God can do. So if we want to be wealthy, we are like, God will help us to become wealthy. If we want to build a good career, we'll be like, wow, God is going to help us to build a good career. We don't really look at the Bible and see, how can I build a good career by reason of being a child of God? Because there are many people out there that are not even religious, they don't even call on God, and the things, but they are doing so well just by looking at the world around them and beginning to figure out, okay, this is how things work, let me do it this way. So why is it that we as believers, we are mostly waiting for God to come and do things for us? So my aim, as I mentioned, for starting this study series is for us to be able to look at the Bible to extract principles, proven principles that work for everybody, whether they are Christians or non-Christians, whether they are religious or not religious. These things work because we all live on earth. Not everybody that is on earth is a believer, but every one of us, we understand the law of gravity and we respect it. You will not go and jump from on top of a mountain, whether you're a believer or not, because you know that there is a law of gravity. If you fall, you're going to keep falling all the way down. If someone throws up a rock in front of you, you're going to run away, if whether you're a believer or not, because you know that there is a law that says that whatever goes up must come down right on this earth. So I don't want to get carried away. Let us just go quickly into this Bible verse, and I hope to make these things as brief as possible so that we can take the small portion of wisdom nuggets that we can just think about and find ways to put them to practice in our lives. So I'll just go straight to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, from verse 1 to 3, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. So, what principles can we get from here? It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So, God had a project in mind, which was to create heavens and the earth. And He did that. He just started and He, created the heavens and the earth. And then verse 2 says that the earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. So in this case, God had a plan. I don't believe that God wanted to create a heaven and an earth that was just empty, that was naked, that was without anything, that was covered with water. So he started. He had to start from somewhere. Many of us, when we want to start something, we are like, oh, I have to have everything in place. I have to make sure, like someone like me, when I wanted to start my YouTube channel, I was like, man, I need to go and buy a good camera. I need to go and get ring light. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it kept delaying me. And even to be honest, making this video, I was just saying to myself, I need to prepare for a particular day. And then something came into my mind, this particular Bible verse, but I heard it from someone else, the way they said it. They said, just appear, show up, even in your rollers, your hair in rollers. So you don't need to have everything perfect, just start. And that is what we see God doing. God had a plan. He wanted to make the heavens and the earth, and he just did it. And after he set up that structure, it was formless, it was empty, and darkness covered everywhere. So, what you need to learn from there, start somewhere. You don't have to have everything perfect. And besides that, your very first product is not always going to be perfect, but let that not discourage you. Now, when we look at this, it says, okay, God's first product was not perfect. Now, what did he do with that product? It says, the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. So he created this thing. It was not exactly what he wanted it to be yet. So what did he do? He hovered over it. It wasn't yet what he wanted. So he took time and just looked at the big picture. He didn't sink into depression. He didn't jump into the waters and start swimming. Oh, wow, I tried to do this and it's not working. What do I do? So, what we can learn from this is this: learn to look at the big picture. Yes, you may have something that you've started and it's not working the way you want. The first instinct we have as humans, I do that a lot, is that we just begin to think about how things are going to go wrong. I tried to do this and I'm not getting it right. Now things are going to get affected. My finances are going to be in danger. My family might break apart. Oh, everything might go wrong. And when you start thinking like that, what happens is like you're just putting on a heavy stone on your body and you're going to sink into the depths of that your problem. But that was not what God did. God looked at the big picture. Yes, this is not yet what I want it to be. It means like I have a blank canvas. I can actually now begin to make this into what I want it to be. So what is it that you can take away from this? No matter what you've started, you may have your project that you started is not working out. It doesn't mean that you are not smart. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. You need to take a step back, disconnect yourself emotionally from that thing and find out what's the bigger picture. Okay, yes, I failed this exam, but what can I learn from this? Okay, I don't have money right now, or I just lost my job. What can I do with this? Now I'm free. I have free time on my hands. What can I do? So, and then finally, if we look at verse 3, after hovering over the face of the waters, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So, what can we learn from that? God started, as after he finished hovering, after he finished meditating, after he finished looking at the bigger picture, he decided, now I am going to take the very first next important step, because he saw darkness. Oh, when there is darkness, I can't see clearly. Now let me put the light. Once the light is in place, then I can see clearly and know exactly where I'm going to put what and how I'm going to, make things work out. So what we can get from here is this: after you have looked at the big picture, you can write down a list, like a list of what you need to do, and then do the very next important thing you need to do to set yourself on track for success. So let's say you wrote an exam and you failed the exam and you need to rewrite it. What's the next step you need to take? Maybe you need to go and register for the next one, or maybe you need to get a tutor or something. So after when you're faced with challenges and you've thought about it, don't just think and say, yes, now I know what the problem is. Now I see the big picture. The next thing you need to do is take action. The very next action you can take to kickstart your movement in the direction you need to go. So that is it on um, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. I hope you were able to gain something from this. So, first of all, I'll just summarize the key principles I see here. And there could be many more principles from here, but I just want to focus on these three. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect. Just start with what you have. And then also, next thing is your first product will not always be the way you want it to be, but don't let it discourage you. Don't let it make you think that you are unable to do something amazing. What you need to do when what you want to accomplish is not working the way it needs to work, take a step back and look at the big picture. That way, you'll be able to get more clarity on what is the next step that you need to take. And then, when you get that clarity, go ahead and take the next step, and every other thing will flow from there. Because after creating light, we saw God started creating every other thing. So, thank you for your time. I'm also going to keep coming on here. We'll look at other, excuse me, we'll look at more principles we can learn from the book of Genesis and also from many more scriptural verses in the Bible. Thank you once again for your time. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Write share your thoughts in the comment section as well. And then don't forget to subscribe. And then finally, if you also get any inspiration that is beyond what we have shared, I will be very willing to learn. This is a space where I share what I am learning, and you can also share what you're learning so that every other person that watches this video will be blessed. Thank you so much once again for your time, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.